The words were thrown at me in the middle of the acquisition meeting, sharp as glass, meant to cut and humiliate. You have 2 weeks, then disappear quietly. No pause, no courtesy. 20 people around the table pretended to study their notepads. The buyer's CEO leaned back, pleased with himself, already rehearsing how he'd tell the board he'd crushed resistance. I didn't respond. I reached into my jacket, placed my business card on the table, and slid it toward him. He read it. Silence stretched. Then he looked up at me carefully, and suddenly laughed. They always laugh when they think they've won. This deal was supposed to be our victory. 10 years of building, scaling, bleeding cash in the early years, surviving lean quarters together. I trusted them, trusted him, the partner who sat beside me through night flights and emergency pivots, the one who said we were brothers when the company was nothing but a rented floor and an idea. We shook hands on everything back then. No lawyers, no tricks. That was my mistake. The betrayal wasn't loud. It never is. It was administrative, a quiet restructuring clause buried deep, a sudden board alignment, a buyer who arrived already knowing which chair I'd be pushed out of. I noticed it first in the calendar invites. Meetings I used to lead, suddenly optional. Documents I authored, now locked. My access downgraded temporarily, always temporarily. Then came the whispers. Then the smiles that didn't reach the eyes. The confirmation arrived on a Tuesday night, disguised as a courtesy email forwarded by an assistant who didn't know what it meant. A draft agreement, redlined, my name removed from future governance, my equity converted to a performance-dependent exit package. 2 weeks, then disappear quietly. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't rage either. I planned. I pulled old contracts from cold storage, versions no one remembered existed. I replayed conversations, dates, signatures. I built a timeline so clean it felt surgical. I hired no one at first. I watched. Surveillance isn't just cameras, it's patterns. Emails CC'd 1 minute too late, calls taken in hallways, the CFO suddenly nervous around me. When I finally hired help, it was discreet. A litigation firm known for ending careers without headlines, a forensic accountant who spoke softly and never smiled, a regulatory consultant who asked only one question: how patient are you? Very. I let them think I was shrinking. I stopped arguing in meetings. I nodded. I agreed. I became smaller on purpose. Men like them confuse silence for surrender. The buyer's CEO called the acquisition meeting himself. He wanted witnesses. He wanted theater. That's when he said it. 2 weeks. Disappear quietly. And that's when I slid the card. The laughter that followed wasn't mocking. It was nervous, because the card didn't carry my title. It carried my authority. Special counsel to a federal compliance task force. Temporary appointment. Very real, very current. The room changed temperature. I spoke then, calm, measured. I think, I said, we should pause this discussion. The buyer's legal team started flipping pages. My former partner went pale. He knew what I was capable of when I stopped talking and started acting. Over the next 48 hours, everything unfolded exactly as predicted. Regulators requested documents, auditors requested explanations, banks requested reassurances. Turns out, when you quietly move liabilities off books, when you prearrange asset transfers, when you falsify performance metrics to justify removing a founder, someone notices. Someone like me. The climax didn't happen in a courtroom, it happened in an elevator. My partner stood beside me, trapped between floors, eyes red, tie loosened. "We could have worked something out," he said. "You didn't have to do this." I looked at the mirrored wall, at the man who once called me family. "You already did this," I replied. "I just finished it." By the end of the week, the acquisition was suspended indefinitely. The buyer's CEO resigned for personal reasons. My partner was removed by the board he thought he controlled. His equity frozen pending investigation. No press conference, no shouting, just consequences. I returned to my office one last time, the one with the view I earned. I packed nothing. Everything in that room belonged to a version of me that no longer needed proof. Before I left, I sent one email, 2 lines. You wanted me gone quietly. Consider it done. Now I sit somewhere else, somewhere higher, somewhere untouchable. I don't replay the betrayal anymore. I don't need to. Revenge isn't about destruction. It's about correction. They thought power was volume. They thought confidence was noise. They forgot I built everything they tried to steal, patiently, invisibly, without applause. And when they told me to disappear, I did, just not the way they expected.